everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. There might have been a slight confusion in the past video. In my defense, as much as that's trying to defend the indefensible, I had just explained somebody what the meaning of the Großer Kurfürst was, because that was Friedrich Wilhelm von Brandenburg, who is also a Frederick, because everybody at the time was called Frederick. So just when I was finished with explaining that, I was uploading the other video and it turned out, yeah, that was actually about the other ship. So yes, I'm probably going to have to live with that for a while. Anyway, moving on to today's main feature. And today's main feature is going to be a video sent in by Ergot. And Ergot is playing team. He's divisioned up with Split Tail in her shores and with Odin 22 in the Ryujo. The Ergot himself is playing the Z-39, the German destroyer, the premium one, and they're playing on Encounter. Now this video is going to be about team play, and we're going to have 3 battles, and there's some examples of how team play can go really, really well and how it can go not so well. So let's go and have a look. The enemy team, they have a Ryujo as well, a couple of cruisers and destroyers, no battleships. So the Ergot is spawning center together with Odin in the carrier. So the very first thing he does is, well, just move forward. And in this is a relatively unusual map for a tier 6 battle or a tier 7 battle, but usually as a destroyer you can either go wide on the outside or you can go center. Now he's in a German destroyer, so he switches over to the armor piercing. He's got very good guns and he's sailing straight through the carrier drop, but it looks like the carrier isn't really that interested in him. So, well, not complaining, he got lucky there. The carrier seems to be trying to go straight for Odin. Now, one thing you'll notice here very quickly is that the left flank is open. There's a cruiser in the cap, the other 2 cruisers are taking defensive positions on the right flank, and the 2 destroyers are in the middle. Nobody's covering the left flank. So Ergot is dropping some speculative torpedoes, just in case something comes around there, and then he's turning left to see what's going on, and he's being spotted. So what can we see? Shots coming in, and there we can spot something, and that's a Brooklyn. So that's not something he wants to engage into at close range. Also his torpedoes are still on reload, so he's dodging shots. And it turns out there's not just 1 Brooklyn, there are 2 Brooklyns. So the enemy cruisers, all 3 of them, are on the left flank. There comes the Atlanta. Ergot is starting to take fire, heals up, and decides, nope, I'm not having any of that, and moves back. So all 3 enemy cruisers are now pushing left flank. The friendly Nürnberg buggers off and runs to defend on the right flank. Now, the friendly team has killed they have 1 destroyer down. There's the Akatsuki, that's the 2nd destroyer, and the Akatsuki is down. So at this point, they see that the enemy team is committed on the left flank. All 3 cruisers are on the left, and at this point they can decide, either they have to go back and defend, because Odin is mightily exposed and they can go for the cap, or they have to push into the enemy cap. So the destroyer does the right thing, he pushes forward and he has realized there's nobody there. So he pushes forward into the enemy cap. Odin at this point probably could have run, but where's he going to go? He doesn't have anywhere to go. So Ergot is lining up a couple of torpedoes against the Atlanta, but again he's pushing into 3 cruisers. He can spot them, but he can't really do very much about them at this point. The Split Tail's got the right idea. There she goes, defend the base. Yes, because the base is under severe threat at this point, and they are too late to push the enemy base. They could have pushed the enemy base and forced them to return. Here comes the Mayhem. So Ergot picks the 1 target that he can actually deal with, and opens fire up on the Mayhem. And these German guns do a lot of damage. Now he's got the Hydra running, but the Mayhem sends out torps against 1 of the cruisers by the looks of it, and smokes up, which isn't going to do him any good because Ergot's got the Hydra running. So yep, he keeps him being spotted in the smoke. Ergot keeps up the fire, but he's getting way too close to the Atlanta here. He's getting under severe fire. There come the armor-piercing shots from the Atlanta, and he's getting crossfired because the Brooklyns have made it into the... Well, the Brooklyn has made it into the cup by now. The other Brooklyn is returning to defend friendly cup. So they're capping our team now. Ergot is trying to use the New Orleans as a shield. Unfortunately, his Hydra runs out just in the moment when he could have used it most. And while the Atlanta can't hit him, well, the Brooklyn can. Now, they're being capped, and they have to do something about it. But this is also going to stop their points income once the cap starts flipping. Now we're following the Nürnberg here, who's doing a torpedo run against the Brooklyn. Could have used his guns as well. Especially the armor-piercing at this range with the 150 millimeters. But it's turning around while taking severe fire. And at this point they flip the cap, so there's no more points income for this team. The Brooklyn takes a lot of torpedoes, and the Split Tail finishes them off on the shores, but the Atlanta finishes off the Nürnberg. So now it's 2-on-1. Let's follow Split Tail here. But they're too, even if she can equalize, they're too far ahead in points. She has to switch to the armor-piercing now because the Atlanta is relatively close. Giving an awful lot of broadside there, but risking it all to get the Atlanta down. She has the health advantage, so she can probably get the Atlanta, but the Atlanta has torpedoes as well. So she stops, hoping that the Atlanta was leading the torpedo spread and keeping the fire up. I would have reversed at this point, maybe, because the Atlanta only has one launcher on each side. Now the Atlanta turns, there comes the second spread, so that's probably going to be the first spread. Still, yeah, and there comes the second spread. So she takes one, she takes two. Now she could have turned out here, but they've lost this battle because they are too far behind in points. Even if she dodges these torpedoes, there's no way that she can get back in the 40 seconds remaining and kill the other Brooklyn. So there she goes. Yeah, they lost this one. And how could that have gone better? Well, it's always easy to say that after the fact. But there was this one moment when they realized that the enemy team was committed to the push on the left flank and that they were going for the cap. At that point, they were still in defensive positioning on the right flank, even though there were actually no more ships on the right flank to defend against. That was the point when they had to make a decision. They could have either returned to the cap and defend, or they had to push forward and go for the enemy cap and forcing the cruisers to turn around. The destroyer did that. So the cruisers just took a little bit too long to get back to save Odin, maybe in the Ryujo, and to do something about that push. It's these split-second decisions that can make all the difference. And as a team, it's hard sometimes because you don't always have something like voice comms. So even though people are in a division, it doesn't mean that they can necessarily communicate with each other. Split Tail did the exact right thing. She called out, defend the base. But it just took the team too long to react to that. Now let's not be overly critical and just move on to the next. Now in this match, Ergot has changed over to the New Orleans, the Tier 7 American heavy cruiser. Split Tail is over in West Virginia, American premium Tier 7 battleship. And Odin is still in his Ryujo, and they're playing Aurora. Let's go. Well, I've just done some tactical videos about Aurora, so we'll see how things get applied, and we'll see how this works out. They're top tier again, a bit more battleships this time around. So both Ergot and Split Tail are spawning on A-Cap. Now remember what I said about A-Cap, these islands are an awful lot of getting in the way if you have to do close range fighting. So you have to defend this, obviously, because it's an easy open flank. But this is domination mode, so you could just completely head over to B, and someone in the team calls it out. Head over to B, so you could go and capture C and contest B.
Roger that.
Split Tail kind of hangs around there, but it looks more viable because they're in a team. And Odin actually does the right thing and goes and scouts A. And there's a Farragut coming down as well. So with some support, if the battleship can hang back, this is doable. Ergot moves towards B, goes around the center island. Now with the American heavy cruisers, you want to basically be nose in towards the danger, because that makes them a lot hard. While they are quite sturdy, that makes them a lot harder to hit. Now we've got the two destroyers spotted. There's the Mayhem and the Minsk's on the other side. Now priority target could have been the Minsk, but there's a Farragut, there's Split Tail, and Odin is dropping, so it's fair enough to just deal with the Mayhem. You can often just ignore destroyers at this range, because bot destroyers, because they're not really going to fire torpedoes. He has to switch the ammunition though, because he's still firing armor piercing, and you see the 192 points of damage. That's overpens. This is too close for the AP. It's just overpenning. He will eventually get the Mayhem down, but it takes just a little bit longer. And I think he realizes it now that he's got the wrong ammunition type loaded. Now he's still firing out the AP. That's the right thing to do. Well, if you have it loaded anyway, switches over to the HE and finishes off the Mayhem with the secondaries. Now the enemy team with the bot Mayhem has captured B, and by the looks of it, the Minsk is still alive, and the Farragut is dead. So Split Tail is in trouble over in A. But Ergot can't easily head over there because, well, he's in trouble as well. There's a New Mexico and there's a Nagato. So he's trying to turn Cap B and risking an awful lot by giving this much broadside to two enemy battleships. But he takes some damage, but it's minor. There's also a Fiji over there. Now the Fiji he would have to fire armor piercing. He gets the Cap. Does he? No. Oh, he just did. No, he just missed the Cap. He got a fire on the Nagato. So he has to turn around again, and now he's getting under air attack from the enemy carrier as well. And he's out here without support. Now, the American heavy cruisers are very good AA cruisers, but he's forced there to come torpedoes, so he's forced to get broadside again. Wrong ammo type against the Fiji, but there comes the Nagato again, and he's point blank and broadside onto a Nagato. Split Tail, I think, has been sunk. And A has been thoroughly lost because the enemy team has pushed hard on A. It would have been better for them to just disengage from A and concentrate over at B. So Ergo is low on health, he's on fire, he's a perma fire, and he's trying hard to disengage, but the Nagato's got him. At that point, he was under fire from too many things, and in a tier 7 battleship there was not much he could do. So how could this have gone better? Again, I think the team did the right thing in that they played together. Odin was clearly supporting Split Tail in the beginning with the drops against the Minsk, but I don't know if the Minsk play was just excellent or something went wrong. But it looks like she got a bit stuck between the islands. That is the danger when you're taking a battleship towards that cap. It could have been a better decision to just stick together and relocate, because the island was also in the way. Ergo was not in a position to deliver supporting fire. He couldn't have pushed forward much more to fire at the Minsk because he was getting under fire from the battleships. And on his own, being isolated, he was just focused down at that point. So it's a team play is always about mutually supporting fire and making sure that you prioritize your targets correctly for the type of ship that you're playing. If you're in a cruiser, your priority target is to protect your battleships and to take on destroyers. If you're in a battleship, your priority target is to take on enemy cruisers and battleships and carriers if you can see them. And just try to combine the capabilities of your ships the best we can. Now let's on to the third battle. In this battle, our three Musketeers have switched ships again. Odin is apparently fed up with playing bottom tier carrier and has switched to the Scharnhorst, the German tier 7 premium battleship. Ergo is in the Gneisenau, the Trek-tree sister of the Scharnhorst, and Split Tail is sailing out in her Helena. The enemy team has 3 Udachis. I've just made a video about how dangerous these things can be with the deep water torpedoes, and the team has 2 battleships. So it's all hinging on Split Tail in the Helena to make sure that she keeps these destroyers away as much as possible and lets the battleships do their job. Enemy team, New Mexico, Arizona, has battleships and the Graf Spee on top of all that. And we're playing Bay of Storms. So let's start rolling. And we'll see how this goes. Bay of Storms is always a bit of an interesting map because it can be quite hard if you're going wide on the flanks, because then while you have a good line of fire, you often don't have any ways of supporting the other side. So they're cross spawns, which means the carrier is going to be spawning on the other side from here probably. And actually I'm not sure if this is cross spawn, we'll find out. Now, the Farragut is not going towards the corner, which is what destroyers can often do. But the Farragut seems to be going wide. And the Farragut has a very good detection range, so he can scout, but he doesn't have to, because there's a carrier in play. And we can immediately see that the carrier is covering the island corner to see if there's any enemy Yudachis lurking and sending deep water torpedoes around the corner. Now Helena is going forward, and there's one of the first Yudachis spotted, but that's still back in the cap, and the carrier goes for the destroyers first, which is also a good thing to do with the dive bombers. Splittail quite exposed up front with the Helena, and Ergot being further back, and also he's prioritizing. He's seen the danger. He's prioritizing the Yudachis, firing high explosive from the Gneisenau. The Gneisenau only has 6 guns, but a relatively fast reload. So she is, yeah, he gets dropped, gets a double fire, extinguishes it. She's not the, oh, that was risky, because that could have been a double tap and a permaflight. Now he has to switch back to armor piercing, because he's no longer firing at destroyers. One of the Yudachis is sitting there in the corner just behind, so he can't push around. And Splittail wisely has moved back a little bit. And oh, he's still on high explosive because he's still trying to fire at the Yudachi. It's going to be hard to hit that thing from here. Now he's switching over. Yo, he got 2 hits, 2 good hits in. That's nice. But he's switching over to armor piercing, and they are quite heavily concentrating on their left flank. So they have to make something happen here, because there's only Odin and one of their destroyers on the right flank, and the 2 Yudachis are pushing that destroyer. Now Yudachis have deep water torpedoes, so they can't actually torp the destroyer, but they can torp Odin very, very well. So Splittail is moving forward in her Helena, taking point, and just trying to push the destroyers away, but she's gonna need support. And Ergot is in the right ship to do this. Oh, she's giving broadside again against the Graf Spee. He's got big guns, and Helena's a light cruiser. So Ergot is pushing. He's firing up the engines, he's turning the ship around, and he has to push in and tank, because the Nürnberg and the Helena can't stand up against 2 battleships and the heavy Admiral Graf Spee. So he's pushing in. The Yudachis, I'm not sure where they are. I see one. Oh, the Nürnberg just took a big hit from the battleship. He's too close. Maybe trying a torpedo run. So that's the Arizona. That's a good target, because he's not paying attention, because he's looking at the other side. So primary's out, and that's some good armor piercing penetrating hits. And she's in secondary range. Secondary's out. Can you get a kill? Nope. Here you secures the kill by just dropping him. Okay, he's pushing forward. He's now committed. And the enemy team is 1 ship down, and they're 1 ship down. So it's still quite equal. He's ignoring the New Mexico ahead and focusing on the Graf Spee, because he probably thinks about the Farragut being there. And look at the positioning of Splittail. She's at the corner. She can support. She can try to support both sides, and she can take the Yudachis under fire wherever they come. And there's one over there. Hopefully the Farragut can do something against the New Mexico. Yes, there comes some nice torpedo spreads. And this is a good move. Ergot's realizing, oh, I've got torpedoes on the other side. I can just quickly swing the ship around. There was a Yudachi there, so he's turning in, because that thing probably got torpedoes away. And the torpedoes from the Graf Spee miss. The other spread is hit the New Mexico, and the Graf Spee is now out of torpedoes. She's broadside on. There come the deep water torpedoes, but good dodge. Didn't even use the Hydra there, and takes that thing out. Now the two Yudachis are still alive, and they theoretically have enough time to cap out. But look at Splittail's position here. She's at the tip of the island, so whatever comes around, she can take care of that on either side. She can either keep supporting Ergo in the enemy cap, or she can turn around quickly and defend their home cap in case the two Yudachis show up. And there's the first one. We're probably going after the carrier and trying to cap out. But he's not going to have any luck because there's Helena. And that thing can make short work of them. So there's the Ranger. Ranger is running. Ergo is just chasing him down a little bit, just farming a bit more damage. He's probably not going to easily catch that thing, but he's definitely in range, and he's probably going to take some torpedo hits. But the battle is almost over. The friendly carrier is running. The Yudachis are too late to cap out. They seem to have not managed to take the carrier out with the deep water torps. And again, there's a Helena on the corner there. The carrier goes down, but no chance. Can they still take out the Ranger? One more shot out from the primaries. Yes! Splittail actually gets the Ranger burnt down, so more support from her. And they're capping. So even if the Yudachis had capped at this point, it wouldn't have mattered. So you see the difference, how this thing played out, right? They realized as a team what the danger was. They realized Odin was on the other side, so there wasn't much he could do. The best he could do on the other side was to draw fire in that kind of situation. They had two ships on the other side. The Nürnberg had moved across, so they had a heavy committed push on the left flank. Odin was just there to provide crossfire and to draw attention away. And I think he got sunk. I don't know who it was. Probably one of the Yudachis, given that they both moved around. But they haven't been committed enough to exploit that weakness. So they managed to hold their right flank for quite a while with Odin there. And in the meantime, Splittail just did an amazing job on the corner, just threatening and keeping the Yudachis away, because you do not want to push into something like a Helena. And Ergo has been keeping back in the beginning while we were still figuring out what the positioning was. And then when he realized that the destroyers were not pushing around that side and that he had the Helena position for support, he moved forward, used his health, and used the just raw brawling firepower of this German battleship to take out, well, a lot of things. So that's exactly how you play as a team. Even if you don't have voice communications, you realize what your ship is good at and how you can support each other. And the easiest way to do that is just positioning and target prioritization. If you're in a light cruiser and there's a lot of destroyers around, cover your battleships. If you're in a battleship, make sure that you body block your light cruisers and just take some hits because you've got the health pool to take them. Go after the enemy cruisers, go after the enemy battleships. If you're in a destroyer, go scout. Go support your teammates. See if they have anyone who's not paying attention because he's focusing on your teammate. Focus your fire. Try to take out ships. Try to decide on which ship to take out first if you can. And you can do all this without saying a single word to each other. So, well done, the three of them. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Ergo, for sending that one in. That was great fun to watch these and to comment on. That's it for today. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.